Welcome to episode 101 of the Ben Briggs podcast. I am Ben Briggs. It's Tuesday's episode, people, but it is Wednesday, the 22nd of April, 2020, and I've been enjoying myself today, people. I am in a chipper mood. I ain't gonna lie to you. I have been sitting out, basking in the beautiful sun that we have going on in the UK at the moment. It's fucking been beautiful out there. I cannot stress just how much I am enjoying this fucking lockdown or whatever it is that we've got going on at the moment. Well, it is a lockdown, isn't it? I imagine other people around the world are as well. But if you've got a little bit of garden, like I have at Briggs Towers here, it's been fucking beautiful, to be honest. I ain't gonna lie to you. I've just been sitting out in the sun, watching people walking by, doing their several walks a day, as everybody seems to be doing right now. And yeah, it's pretty. Been pretty chilled out the last couple of days. The podcast is late because I was just enjoying myself so much. If I have absolutely roasted my Uta, that is, I look like a fucking proper pisshead at the minute. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's I look as though I'm doing about a bottle of whiskey a day. I've got the old Alex Ferguson fucking nose going on. That's one of the worst things about. There's a lot of bad things. I ain't gonna lie to you. About my genetics, but the old hooter being rather large just reflects off the sun and it just gets fucking hammered. So that's basically what I've been doing. I've been going outside about 1:30, staying outside until about 4:00, reading a book. Rereading books I actually studied at university. Proper classics. The last couple of days, I've just finished it today, and I've been reading The Picture of Dorian Gray. I don't get what the fuss is about, people, to be perfectly honest. It's all right. It's okay, but fuck me. I mean, I must have said this on the podcast before to you people, but fuck me, Dorian Gray, Oscar Wilde can fucking go on. Somewhat chronic. Jesus Christ, man. I mean, get to the point, me old booty. You know, it's just like one list after another list after another list. Yes, okay. I'm perfectly aware that you know about Greek mythology and everything that happened in Roman times and Shakespeare and stuff like that. You don't have to fucking keep churning it out. Talk about a fucking self-publicist, if there ever was one. Talking of which, subscribe, like, subscribe, share. But it's, yeah, it was okay. You know what I mean? It was all right. It was an okay sort of read. It gave me that sort of like idea as if I was like reading one of the classics and I'm getting more and more educated from it. But like any of those books, like at the end of it, you just think, well, it was all right. You know, it's no Die Hard. You know, it's not gonna be in one of those categories like that. It's not going to be up there with Fight Club for me. I'm not going to revisit it all the time. Like if I just need a little Fight Club hit or something, I just whack that in and you can switch off a little bit. I don't know, man. It's all these people who say read the books better than the film. These are the people who need to be immediately executed for being pompous as anything. It's just, it's the people who say that. Really, your imagination and your ideas are better than an Oscar-winning director's. You're in the wrong fucking game, me old booty. You ought to be directing films and interpreting it in your head the way on screen, the way it is in your fucking head. I don't know, people. It was all right. It's an all right sort of a book, really. I think like half of the time, half of it was like hard going, and the ending's pretty shit. You know, he just kills him. You know, he stabs the painting or whatever, and he dies, and then turns into what the painting was, and the painting turns back into him after he murders people. There's no real, there's no real jeopardy in there at all. Like, really. You know, even the guy who goes to kill him, Sylvia Vane or whatever her name is, her brother, he fucking, in the end, he just dies in the easiest manner possible with very little jeopardy. And Oscar Wilde's there going, yep, fucking hell, chalk another one up for me. I'm a fucking genius. I don't know, people. We're starting a little bit ranty today. I don't know. I was just disappointed. Let's have a little bit of tea. Very disappointed in it. I'll tell you why I was disappointed in it as well. Because I didn't fucking read it at university. There was a certain amount of books on the syllabus. We've all done it, people. Come on, you can't turn round to me and say that you've seen a list of books on the syllabus and you think, actually, I'll concentrate on this lot so that I can ignore those books and maybe go out a few nights. You know, nobody reads if you're doing English literature at university, nobody fucking reads everything, do they? Most people just skim read the stuff they have to. Possibly now go online. I went before the internet was worldwide famous. I went on into university before like the fucking internet and all that sort of shit. So I didn't have the, I didn't have the skim. You get your York notes or whatever, don't you? I don't know, people. Wasted education somewhere. But I'm so glad I didn't read that when I was 18, 19, 20, because I'd have just picked it up and just gone, fucking hell. Nobody really gives a shit about this. Nobody cares, that you got a little painting in your attic. It's essentially the one thing I will say about Oscar Wilde, the whole painting in the attic that looks like all of the sins he's committed or the shallowness of him and his narcissistic nature. He fucking saw social media coming years before everybody. All of those Instagram fucking influencers have got a fucking painting somewhere in their attic that is just degraded. Their ass is fucking gone all saggy that they take their fucking picture of every fucking 5 minutes. The lips are all saggy. And there's just a painting somewhere in their attic, just with all their fucking degraded soul. And every fucking selfie they take is just another wrinkle or just another curl of the mouth or hollowness of the eyes that they've got. I don't know. He saw it coming, man. Maybe he was a genius. I don't know. He liked to fucking declare it at airports and shit, apparently. I don't know, people. I don't know. I did read, I did see an article today. Like, I've watched Robinson Crusoe today as well. God knows why I'm fucking, maybe it's a sign of the times, people. Maybe it is. Bit more tea there. Maybe it's a sign of the times by the fact that I'm watching, reading stuff like about narcissistic people like Dorian Gray who just go out there like, getting everything they want and living sin to the full, and then watching Robinson Crusoe. When you watch that film back, I don't know, it must have been about a 70s or something like that. 1970s, 1980s version I watched, where obviously he's a slave trader and stuff. And then the first black guy he makes comes across on the island, he immediately gets him to call him master and shit. I mean, fuck's sake, Jesus. I was genuinely watching that thinking, oh, fuck, I hate being white right now. This film is brutal. If you put it in a modern day context, that book and obviously the subsequent film, I've never read Robinson Crusoe, by the way. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I might have to do it. Now I've tolerated Dorian Gray. Maybe that is the next stop for me. Reading the book of Robinson Crusoe. I imagine it's a lot more horrendous than the film that I watched today. But the film, he just fucking immediately saves the black dude, and then immediately goes, right, okay, you're working for me, buddy. You know, I saved your life and everything. Well, you got some chores to do around the place. You're not going to get paid for it or any shit like that. I don't know. So I watched that today. I also started watching, last night I started watching, what was it? The Innocence Files. Fuck me on Netflix. You've got to. I urge you to watch this. It's just people who have been fitted up like with various crimes and shit. I've watched episode 1. So basically, I don't know whether it follows on from this one or it skips to another case or whatever. But I've watched the first episode and it is fucking gripping. If it wasn't for this podcast now, I would be watching it right now. And it is, 11:30 at night? So I would be watching it right now. The first episode was fucking horrendous crime. Some little girl gets abducted in the middle of the night and then they find her fucking, bad things have happened to her. She's ended up dead in a fucking lake or something like that. And then they managed to fit the guy up by bite marks or whatever, which at the time or whatever, and which I always thought, like, bite marks were basically, this is not for any reason, by the way. This is why I don't go around biting people. I always thought they were like fingerprints. You know, like they got the same sort of like definition in your fucking teeth and shit like that. And they can actually fit that up. But apparently that is not the case. And some guy got fitted up and put in prison with it. And then the worst thing about it was another murder happened in the same fucking area of like Mississippi or whatever. Obviously, it's a black guy in Mississippi and gets put in prison. Big Kel surprise. But there's, in like obviously fitted up in that fucking, like it's still fucking horrendous down there, isn't it? I've watched Mississippi Burning, man. I know what it's like. Yeah, so he gets put in prison. Then another murder exactly the same, 3-year-old child, fucking sexually assaulted, then fucking murdered and dumped in a fucking lake happens. And the people, powers that be, just think it's like a fucking copycat murder. So this geezer's still in prison, still innocent. I imagine he got out because they're fucking interviewing him about it. But Jesus Christ, man. Just to be on the end of that, it's almost like making a murderer or whatever. Although there's some fucking, Jesus, those two in those ones, Jesus, they fitted each other up, I think, didn't they? But yeah, I urge you to watch that. It's fucking fascinating, just seeing like the forensic side of things at that time, because I don't think they had DNA or anything like that, or they couldn't get DNA, they couldn't get fingerprints or anything. So they used these bite marks, and apparently they matched like the bite marks on this little girl's body or whatever. And but fucking hell, man, Jesus. I mean, to be fitted up by something like that, and then you've got no recall whatsoever from it. Fucking hell. I don't know. I am fascinated with true crime shit, and people being fitted up for shit, and because you could be one step away from that happening, and you could be sitting in jail and going, oh my God, I'm surrounded by fucking actual murderers. They think you've killed and fucking raped a child. So you ain't going to be, they're not going to be holding any birthday parties for you in prison. That's for sure. So you're on your own little wing with all the rest of the nonces who are fucking probably twitching and fucking, getting all weird, comparing notes about the shit they've done. And you're sitting there just going, well, I didn't do anything, but they've got forensic evidence like tooth marks or whatever, you'd pull your own fucking teeth out, wouldn't you? If you knew you were being fitted up for something like that, I don't know. Nobody ever knows they're being fitted up until the next minute they're in fucking handcuffs and being wheeled off to the jail. Let's have a little bit of tea. Oh, dear. You've got to love the tea, people. Got to love the tea. What are we on? Oh, fucking 15 minutes already I've been chuntering on. I've been watching that. Whilst I watched a little bit and then sort of like went outside and shit and sat in the sun, obviously. I'm going to have to cut my fucking bushes down at the front tomorrow because like they're growing really high. And the worst thing about it is, like, I'm sitting there in a chair, somebody walks past the fucking bushes, and then there's the amount of people who have just like gone, oh, fucking hell, Jesus. So I'm going to have to cut my bushes down so I don't look like some sort of leery fucking... That's you see, these things go through my head. This is where I end up on the Innocent files. Like that. I was just sitting in the bushes in my garden, man. I wasn't fucking jumping out on anybody. Yeah, a likely story. I don't know, man. So I've been watching that. It's just fucking fascinating. Like many people, though, I ain't doing a lot. It's, I'm starting to fucking get a little bit twitchy now, I think. It's been... Like, since I had, I've been, like, essentially in lockdown for, 7 weeks? 7 weeks today I had my operation. And I've been in, out and about, like, locked into Briggs Towers since that time, basically. I've been out and about shopping and shit like that. But, like, there's fucking, if you can't go to the gym, you can't go cinema, you can't do anything. There's not much we can do, people. I am fucking starting to get a little bit cabin fevery. I'm not to the stage of having fucking breakdowns on the podcast or fucking what people are doing, video themselves crying and shit like that. I mean, come on, people. Show a bit of backbone, innit? Just show a little bit of backbone. I know we're all getting cabin fever and stuff like that, but you can't go online fucking crying all the time, can you? I don't know, people. It's just, I don't know. It just seems to be like people have started now. We're all doing the applause for stuff. We're all, people are still dying out there. You can't start crying because your fucking favourite restaurant's not open or... because you can't go to the bowling alley or because, I don't know, you can't see your nan who's fucking 874 years old because you might cough in her face and then next minute she just keels over and drops dead and then you've got to fucking bury her somehow without being able to buy a spade anywhere. I mean, I don't know, people. I'm just ranting. Oh, dear. A little bit more tea there. A little bit more tea, and that's it. Fucking people complaining about that. And then you got multimillionaires like fucking Richard Branson trying to get the old government to fucking pay out the fucking money because he didn't have any sort of like business plan for what happens if all his planes are grounded. Try paying your fucking tax, you bearded fucking weirdy 60s throwback fucking hippie, but really a fucking capitalist cunt. Try doing that, yeah? Sell your fucking island, something like that. Sell off your planes, start, or maybe even better, start selling knockoff fucking records like you did to make your fucking money in the first place. I don't know, people. I don't know. I'm making assumptions here. Anyway, let's there's a fucking change. Let's try and think of things positive. I did read an article here, actually. Let's have a little look. This is the weird. This is for our foreign viewers and also UK viewers and stuff like that. we are a fucked up race in the UK. We do weird shit and that sort of thing, especially around the May time. I remember we have the maypole dancing and all that sort of shit. I used to have to do that in lower school, which is for you people out there who don't know. Like I had the 3-tier school system, so I had like lower school, middle school, and upper school. And I think you do like about 5 years at lower school, 4 years at middle school, and then we went into the 3rd year at upper, so 3rd, 4th, 5th year, and then you had 6th form afterwards, 2 years. So you do 5 years in upper school or whatever. But in lower school, my head teacher, Mr. Care, who was kind of a bit of a, he was all right, but he was like, as head teachers go, is all right. I imagine he's still alive, by the way, because he lives in the village that I grew up in. But he's like some sort of, he used to make us do like maypole dancing and all that sort of shit, because he used to be like king of the Morris men or whatever. He was the weird one. Like, I have never known what the significance of that is. Obviously, it's May Day and there's a holiday and there's a fucking pole and it's got ribbons off it and shit like that. All I remember doing is prancing around with a fucking sword in my pants and vest. Pretty much. It's not going to be that dissimilar to if I am locked up for fucking any longer. Just dancing and prancing around in my fucking pants and vest with a fucking sword. That is going to be my look for the apocalypse, people. That is going to be my fucking look if all of this turns to shit and everybody keeps dying like they seem to be doing. It seems to be going down and then up. Anyway, but he used to make us do that. He didn't make us do that, you know what I mean? He wasn't sitting there on his own just going, now dance for me. In your pants and vest and hold a fucking sword aloft. But we used to have to do all that shit, and the girls used to have to dance around the maypole and stuff like that. I don't know, I was like 6 or 7 years old, something like that. It was kind of, it's kind of weird, I suppose. But we used to have to do all that shit because he used to be the fucking king of the Morris men, and I imagine still is. Which is quite weird because in the village I lived in, Moulton Village in Northampton. They have a festival like every year where they have a carnival going through and shit like that. And the Morris men with the old bells round, they always lead the carnival. And it was very weird at the age of 6 or 7 seeing your head teacher dressed as a woman with ribbons in his hair and fucking wearing a dress, with, it's very confusing for a boy of 7 years old. When the next day at school, you're getting a bollocking for not having done your homework or something, and you've just seen the guy, the day or 2 days before, that weekend, dressed as a woman, prancing through the streets, and then he's trying to tell you that you need to be more grown up and take things a little bit more seriously. It's very confusing. Very confusing. But anyway, this is the article that I saw about all the weird shit that we do in England that won't be going on this year in May because of obviously lockdown central, people, isn't it? It's lockdown central. Let's get that out of the camera. This gives an insight into the sort of weird shit that we do in this fucking country. The Worm Charming Championships. I'd never heard of this. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd never heard of this. But you've heard of trying to charm a snake? Well, yes. But did you know that each year people gather to coax earthworms out of the ground? This is what they do. I imagine it's just stamping, is it? It's a thing, and now you will not be able to go and spectate in this riveting yet rather slow-moving contest. There is thousands of people in this picture doing this. This is the sort of weird shit, people using hammers and shit. There's the next one up. This is another weird thing. I've never heard of this either. I ain't going to lie to you. I've not heard of this shit. So this is the annual bike ride, the Tweed Run, that goes through central London. I imagine it's middle-class people doing this. I can't imagine working-class people. You ain't going to be cycling through Brixton in Tweed. Or what other working class? Bethnal Green. You ain't gonna get to the other side of there in Tweed. You ain't gonna get the other side of there with your bike. I don't think these days. Yeah, this is people cycle like on the 2nd of May through London with Tweed. There's a geezer there in Tweed, a flat cap which is Tweed, and his dog is on a fucking basket on the back and also wearing tweed. This is people who just want to, hey man, I'm so kooky. This is the sort of people we have to live with in this country. Lawnmower racing, yeah, I've heard of that. Cheese rolling, obviously, cheese rolling is one of the big things that happens in Gloucester, where they fucking local people. I remember watching a documentary about this. And there was the guy who took it so fucking professionally. He lived locally. It's down a place called Cooper's Hill. And it's a fucking, I don't know, it's got a hell of a descent on it. Very much like this podcast. But it's got a hell of a descent on it. And people just fucking fly. It's amazing to watch because it's that steep and people sprint down there. And inevitably hurt themselves, which is fucking fascinating to watch. I would gladly go and watch that every year if it was more local to me, just to see people break their arms and break their legs chasing after cheese. Is there anything more British than injuring yourself chasing after a fucking lump of cheese down a hill? I'm not sure there is, people. I'm not sure there is. Possibly if you got other people to chase the cheese for you. I don't know. The Ely Hoop. Oh, I don't know. The Maypole. Here we go. Dancing around the Maypole has been a tradition in the UK for centuries. I had to do this, people. But with everyone putting their hands on the pole at the centre, it's a potential risk. Yeah, it's a fucking coronavirus hotspot. But I don't know. That's the sort of shit that we're missing out on in May. The World Custard Pie Championships. I don't know. I've never heard of that shit before. But you know, people in this country. I don't know of any other country that has weird shit like this going on. It's just too much. You know, maybe something else will come out of this lockdown that's just as fucking weird as this whole fucking history. Dragon Boat Regatta. I imagine that didn't originate in the UK. In Gloucester as well. People in Gloucester are fucking nuts, man. Absolutely nuts. Dragon Boat Regatta. Let's have a look. Mayday Dip. Plunging into the freezing North Sea at dawn on the first day of May. Jesus Christ. Bottle kicking match. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, that's just people just fucking kicking a bottle through fucking villages and shit like that. You see, this is the wonderful world that we live in here in the UK. Let's have a look. 29 minutes. Fucking hell. Let's get on to something else. Here's a news article that's bound to fucking wind me up. This is a sort of news article where just the initial headline can fucking just me going, oh, this now. Is it really? It's this now. Here's the headline for you people. Dogs at risk of major separation anxiety once lockdown is over. That's it now. That's it. Now we've got dogs with separation anxiety. It'll be the fucking owners. When the owners get back to work, they'll be there won't they, going, oh, I really miss my dog. I've spent ages, and the dog's fucking whining and shit like that, and just sitting there looking all fucking sad and shit until they come home, just pining out of the window. Now there's lockdown. This is what people are doing. This is what's going to happen now. This is fucking people getting bored. That's what it is. And just thinking, oh, God, this whole situation, I've been thinking about me and I forgot about my dog when I go back to work. Fuck your dog. It's going to have to fucking deal with it. Your dog's going to have to man up, man. Coronavirus. Yeah, one little pup was so excited about this that he even managed to break his tail from wagging too hard. And what's going to happen to that dog? Well, it's just not going to break its tail again, is it? It's probably going to break its soul. I don't know, people. I don't know. What are we on? 30 minutes, people. We've hit 30 minutes. This is the second one we're recording, so hopefully this comes out right. Fuck me, it took me ages to sort out the camera and shit like that again today. That was episode 101 of the Ben Briggs podcast. If you want to message me about anything, it is just podcast@benbriggs.co.uk. I will be back on Saturday, and we're going to be throwing back in the adverts on Saturday as well. We've got a few adverts to read out Saturday. Have a great week, whatever you're doing until then. Stay safe, motherfuckers, and I'll speak to you then. Take care.